Okay. I just put my phone in 4K. Um, I didn't even know my phone. I didn't even know my phone could go 4K. I just came off of recording a video, and I felt good just sharing information. You know, sharing energy, just giving you guys some energy. Um, and in this video, I just want to talk about the mind, how the mind operates, how the mind works, specifically how the mind can be a gift and a curse. The mind is a tool, right? The mind, we have it to problem solve, we have it to, you know, fix certain problems in our lives. We use our mind to critically think. But what happens when your mind goes on overload? When your mind goes on overload, you start thinking about all of these negative thoughts, all of these negative possibilities, like, oh, what if this, what if that, my bills are due next month, oh, this, that, what if they don't love me, what if they don't, I feel this way, I feel that way, I can't understand what's going on, I'm just thinking rapidly. And when you do that, your mind is no longer a tool. Your mind is a poison at that point. Your mind can either be a tool or a poison. It depends on what you use it for. It's a balance, and I've just now come into slight understanding of these words when it comes to duality and non-duality. It's duality, two sides of the same coin. You can't do too much of it, but you can't do too little of it. And what I mean by that is, like, your mind. You can use your mind to solve a problem. You can use your mind to, critically think. You can use your mind to, solve solve things, understand things. Maybe it's a puzzle, maybe it's a question, maybe that's what you use your mind for. But when the mind gets reflected back onto you, and then you start using the mind to question these unfortunate events happening in life, question, why is this like this? Why is that like this? What if this is like that? What if that is like that? When you use the mind for that, that's when you start to poison yourself. There are times where the mind needs to be empty. But when you try and force an empty mind, your mind is just going to get louder. Like in school, that girl, that one annoying ghetto girl in school, right? She talks a lot. You try and argue with her, tell her to shut the hell up. She's just going to get louder with you and louder, right? It's what it is. It's your mind. But with the girl in school, if you ignore her, if you accept that she is the way that she is, and if you accept that you can't change that, and if you accept that it just is what it is, she's going to start talking less and less because nobody's giving her attention anymore. Like, she might get attention from time to time, but like, she's not getting attention as much as she would consistently want. And this is how we control our ego. Our ego is mostly the mind. So when you start understanding these thoughts, when you have a thought, when you come across a sad feeling, when you come across a sad thought, when you come across yourself overthinking about a certain situation in life, whether it's a breakup, financial problems, you just sit down and watch your thoughts. Understand that you are not your thoughts. You got to be like, where did this thought come from? It came from your ego. It didn't come from your higher self. It came from your ego. That's where the thought came from. It didn't come from your authentic self. It came from the ego. I want you to know that. And that's very, very important, because when something comes from the ego, it's like the devil on your shoulder. The devil on your shoulder. Because your ego is so obsessed with this 3D world. Your ego doesn't care about transcending. Your ego doesn't care about, being the most authentic, highest version of yourself. Your ego doesn't care about that. All your ego cares about is this 3D world that we live in, which is still a beautiful world, but there are higher planes of dimensionality. There are higher planes of consciousness. Your ego wants you to stay with them. Your ego doesn't want you to transcend. Why? Because your ego gets left on this 3D matrix when you finally die and transcend on a higher conscious level. Your ego is going to get left behind. Your ego doesn't want to get left behind. That's why your ego is doing this to you. Your ego doesn't want to get left behind. So when you start to understand that the mind is the ego, and you start to understand that questioning all this is bringing you nothing but stress and problems and trouble, you're getting so attached to this reality that you're not even allowing yourself to distance yourself from your ego to process and understand these thoughts that are coming up, so that you can know how the universe plans for you to fix these problems, at least on the 3D level. You don't do that, so you're just stuck in your thoughts. You're just stuck in your ways. You have to understand the thought, be the thought, right? You're not your thoughts, but you need to be it for a second. Now, follow me. When you're understanding the thoughts, and when you're understanding what's going on, it's a mirror reflecting. You're reflecting a mirror at yourself, because there are two versions of ourselves: the ego and the higher self. And there's a balance between both. It's literally like an angel and a demon. It's like that. Like, you guys know how, like, in TV shows, there's the angel on the shoulder and the demon on your shoulder. The demon's the ego, your angel is your higher self. So it's a balance between those two things. When you take time to understand, it's like the angel is reflecting the demon. They reflect each other. So anything that you see from your ego, you can then look at it in your higher self. You can see that problem that the ego was presenting you, and you can see how your higher self plans to fix it. When you look at your higher self, when you look at the viewpoint from your higher self, and you think of a problem that you used to have, you look at your ego self, and you go back to that time where you were like, damn, I remember when I had that problem. It's all a reflection. Different versions of the same reflection, but still a reflection nonetheless. Now, hopefully you guys followed me. To calm the mind, it all starts with acceptance. And that may be hard. Not everybody could do it. Sometimes it takes weeks, months, years to master this. Even me, like, I still go through this. Like, sometimes my ego still gets a hold of me. I just want you guys to know, your ego doesn't go anywhere. Your ego, once you awaken, your ego will be defeated. Your ego will feel defeated, but your ego's not going to feel, your ego's not going to go anywhere until you die and transcend. As long as we're on this earth, as long as we live in this 3D physical world, until we transcend and die, our ego is always going to be a part of us. Our ego is going to be here until our last breath. It's all about controlling the ego. Remember, your higher self is you. Your ego is another aspect of yourself. You can balance these two things out. You can control these two things. But what happens when you can't control either? That's when you experience mood swings. That's when you go up and down. That's when your life is in total chaos. When you can't balance the two divine energies, good or bad. Now, the plus side to this is when you master one, or I don't want to say master one, when you really start to understand one and you start to control one, you naturally control the other. Because like I said, they mirror each other. When you control your ego and you're starting to get a hold of your ego, that's when you're starting to understand, wait, I have a higher self, I have a higher purpose, I have a higher version to me. That's when you start to understand that. You get what I mean? So always keep that in mind when you want to engage with the mind. Engage with the mind, but don't do it too often. Because if you do it too often, that could, like I said, it could lead to mood swings. It could lead to you lowering your vibrational energy field to your ego when you're trying to preserve as much energy as possible. So hopefully that video helped you guys. Hopefully like maybe I taught you guys something. Hopefully I taught you guys something. And it's like, yeah, hopefully I just taught you guys something. That's just gonna be my last message for today. You know, I might double upload, like I said. It depends on how fast I upload, because I just came off of recording a video and I just recorded one just now. So with that being said, you know, don't be the ego. Even though you are on a 3D level, you are. On a higher level, you're not. So you need to balance that. It's all duality. Everything is duality. So hopefully that kind of gives you guys like an understanding, right? Oh, he's teaching his daughter how to ride a bike. Hopefully that teaches you guys, or gives you guys some insight on how to understand your thoughts, accept your thoughts, control your thoughts. You can't control your thoughts. Sorry. Not control them. Not control the thoughts, but like accept them, understand them, be with them. Like I said, the faster you come to acceptance, the faster it is to find peace. When you accept everything for what it is, then you're at peace. Because it's like, your ego's trying to hurt you by putting these thoughts in your head, but it's like, bring it on. I already got hurt before. I already been through this pain. You can't hurt me again. I learned my lesson last time. I'm ready for nothing but blessings. And when you start to understand that, it's like everything goes a lot smoother. When you accept everything, everything tends to go a lot smoother. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you guys. You know, what should I name this video? Probably like the blessings and cursing. The blessings and curses of the ego. It's actually really good. The blessings and curses of the ego. Yeah. That's gonna be the video, guys. You know, I'm out of here.